Okay, we're going to be doing the beef bourguignon recipe in this video. So we have all our ingredients right here. I'm going to go ahead and cut up the vegetables first. The carrot and celery have already been washed, and I used a green scour pad for the carrot, and we leave the skin on. Go ahead and do the oblique. It's cut, turn, cut, turn. Now for this dish, you want to make sure all the food is bite-sized. And it can be a little bit bigger than bite size because it will shrink as it cooks. So we're doing about this, and then this way when it's cooked it's easy to eat. And you just want to cut and turn towards yourself, and then when it gets to the edge you want to just have it be more stable, and then cut off the end, and then that's the waste that you would get from a carrot. Okay. We'll go ahead and put this to the side. Celery, we want to do a large bias. This is already cut or cleaned, so we're going to go ahead and just take the edges off. Okay. And then you just want to do a bias cut, so it's a little bit like long diamonds. And you can go all the way to the top. This would be your waist, and then no leaves. The leaves will give a bitter component to the dish. So you have your celery, and then the onion will be a large dice. We'll go ahead and take the ends off, the top and the bottom. Cut it in half. Take the outer leaves off. And then it's about a large dice, so we're gonna cut this into thirds, and then I like to cut it in wedges because then they're pretty much all the same size. Okay, so cut into thirds, and depending on the size of your onion will be how you would cut it. The onions we will put over here. A lot of the smaller pieces of the onions will disintegrate into the sauce, so it's okay if there are little pieces. And then we have our mushrooms, which we've already lightly washed. And then you're just gonna have them because they will shrink as they cook. This is all the prep for our vegetables, and then now we'll do the beef. You will want to plank the beef into 1-inch planks. There were about 4 planks in this, and I cut it up into this, and then now you just want to cut into strips and then go across in the 1-inch measurements. And go ahead and put it in the bowl. Okay, we're going to use the 2-handed pot that's at your station with the lid. Okay, you go ahead and put a layer of oil just like you how you normally saute. Okay, and you're going to take your beef cubes and saute it. So I'm just waiting for the pan to get hot. Always have your dry towel here if you want to use it with the handle, because then you don't burn yourself, because sometimes there are other flames going on. Okay, once the oil is hot, let's take a look. We're gonna sear all the beef, and you might need to do it in batches. Okay, so go ahead and put some in. Make sure you spread it out so that they're not on top of each other. You don't want for them to steam, because when you crowd it, the meat will steam instead of saute. And that's a good amount. At the same time, you can season. and we'll wait till they're golden brown. Okay, the beef's been cooking for a while, so let's go ahead and check. And you want it golden brown, just like that. We'll go ahead and set the beef aside and then work on the rest of the beef. Okay, all the beef has been sauteed and they all have that Maillard reaction on one side. You don't need to worry about the other sides. You have your pot, make sure it's not burnt. It shouldn't have any black stuff, black markings. This is the extent of it, but you don't want the whole thing to be black, so make sure your heat is at medium. We have a little light layer of oil. We're now gonna saute the vegetables. Remember, you want the heat to be medium, and your pan should already be hot from cooking all the beef. You want to keep the same pan, do not change the pan out, because all the stuff that's stuck to the bottom is spawn, and it's flavor for your dish. You're going to give this a quick saute. It does not need to be cooked all the way. It's just a light saute to bring out the aromatics of the vegetables. And now that we've been cooking for about a minute, we're going to add the flour. And it's the thickening portion of the beef bourguignon to make the sauce thick. I'm going to switch to a rubber spatula at this point. We're going to cook the flour paste out of the flour. So you want to cook this for at least 2 minutes. And you'll see that it does thicken up. Be careful to burn the flour, so just keep an eye on the bottom. And that's why I switched to a rubber spatula, so that you can scrape the bottom if necessary. Now that it's been 2 minutes, we're going to go ahead and add our tomato paste. Okay. The big thing about the tomato paste is you want it to spread it out on the bottom so that it cooks. The tomato starts to caramelize and create a nice umami flavor. So once it's spread out, try to get it off your rubber spatula and spread it on the bottom and let that cook for a little bit. It's been about a minute with me constantly stirring it with the rubber spatula. And it looks nice and golden right now on the bottom, and we're going to go ahead and deglaze with the red wine. Make sure you scrape the bottom so that nothing burns. It will thicken up because of the flour. And now that it's lightly thickened, you can add your stock. Again, use your rubber spatula and scrape the bottom and try to get all that fond and sauce off. It's going to take a minute, so go ahead and keep continually stirring for about 2 minutes. Okay, this has been cooking for about 3 minutes now. I was able to get all the stuff off the bottom off, so make sure you do that. You can feel it through your rubber spat that it's nice and smooth on the bottom. You're going to add your herbs, okay, and then you're going to also add the beef back in, and you can get all that beef juice all off the bowl and get back in the sauce, so it'll taste really nice. Okay, and then I'm going to do a little seasoning, just a good 5-finger pinch of salt and pepper. You don't want to do it too much. And then now you are going to turn it down. To where it's lightly moving. The bubbles around the sauce are moving. And you want to periodically check it about every 20 minutes. And you want to put the lid on. And then every 20 minutes, give it a stir, check it, make sure there's nothing's burning the bottom. And then we will check, and after 1 hour we will check to see if the beef is tender. Okay, it's been about an hour for the beef. We're going to go ahead and check it. See how it's still simmering. Let's give it a stir, make sure there's nothing stuck to the bottom. And we've already checked this. We've been stirring it every 20 minutes. looks good. We're going to check one piece to just see if how the progress of the cooking it is, and we'll go ahead and put it on a sizzle platter. You'll take a fork, and then you'll see if it's fork tender. Now the fork does go through, but if it takes effort to pull out the fork, which it does right now, I have to use strength. If it just goes straight through and it lightly comes apart too, which it won't come apart, then it still needs more time. So I think it's about halfway there. Put the beef back in, close the lid, and check on it again in every 20 minutes, and then we'll check in an hour. Okay, we're about in an hour and a half in now, and so it's still simmering away. Let's check the bottom. We've already stirred it twice since the last time. And we'll go ahead and check the beef. So we'll grab a piece of meat. It's a meaty one. And then you'll take a fork like before, and you see how nice that the fork goes in as well as it pulls apart with light force. And then you'll go ahead and taste it. And so it is very tender. Go ahead and add the meat back in. I'm going to go ahead and taste it. It's very hot. Needs a little bit more salt and pepper. Give it a stir. At this point, you can take out the thyme leaf, the thyme stems, because all the thyme leaves have fallen off. And you can also, if you can find it, take the bay leaf off. If you do see it, you can take the bay leaf. Now, to serve it, you'll just actually taste one more time before you serve it. Once you think it's good, you'll take a ladle and spoon it into a bowl. And you can serve it with a nice piece of bread, rice, pasta, however you like. You can even garnish it with a little parsley.